All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind. My name is Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach. As today's leaders, we've got Mr. Todd Bookspan. So lucky to have you, Todd. I think you're
so lucky to be here.
Yeah, and where are you right now? What part of the country?
I just wrapped up 3 days with some of my favorite people in the world, the Masters Coach Group from Building Champions in lovely Boulder, Colorado.
So you're still in Boulder?
I'm still in Boulder. I'm going to be running the half marathon running leg of a triathlon relay tomorrow with some of my TMC peeps. So they convinced me to stay here and I guess hurt my body by doing that. So I'm excited to get a lot of on time done today. I got about 6 hours of on time planned today. I've got a pretty big list of things I want to accomplish. So I'm excited to be here.
Right on. Well, thanks for making time. We have Jen Duplessis. Jen, I know you are running wild. You've got a new book hitting the market. Where are you at today?
I'm actually sitting in my office, which is a rare thing on a Friday.
Love it. And,
Yeah.
and I know I bought one of your books pre-sale on Amazon yesterday.
Thank you.
When does it officially hit the market?
September 5th.
Right on. Well, that's exciting. Thanks for making time to be here, Jen. And then we have Mr. Dave Gallegos. Are you working out of your office today in Denver, Dave?
Yeah, I came to work on Friday, man. Yes.
I did too. So Todd's the only one of the leaders on the call that's out and about. Looks like we've got a lot of great participants on today's mastermind. Bliss, it's good to see you on today's call. Derek, Edgar, man, I see a lot of familiar names. Linda Buchanan, what's up? So this call is a different format. It is a mastermind. On my screen right now, you should be able to see the private Facebook group that we use during the call and we use to assign homework assignments afterwards. Anybody that's new to the call, this call started as part of the Insane Productivity with Mastermind program. All of the leaders on this call are all graduates of this program. There is a $500 discount for anybody who hasn't been through it. You can see that at the top of our Facebook group. Check it out. Lots of testimonials. Cannot recommend it enough. It is a fantastic personal productivity training platform. And a lot of the language and a lot of the tactics and strategies we discuss come from this. With that said, last week we centered the conversation around clients for life, how to get more business from your past clients. A recording of that has been uploaded, so you can see that. Marcy uploaded that last week. If you want to go back and listen, check it out. We definitely are going to make that a topic to kick things off. I put a message this morning saying, or no, actually I did it last night, any suggestions on topics for the morning. Todd Bookspan was the only one who commented. Todd, thanks for helping stack the deck today.
Always my pleasure. And, it's always a challenge, I think, to come into this call. You and I've now done this for over a year, just about a year maybe. And so it's always fun to kind of think of something new and exciting, especially now that we've got so many returning folks as well as so many new folks on the call.
So a couple things, folks. You can either add on to this Facebook post, or you could submit a question through GoToWebinar, and you can also raise your hand and be unmuted. So, both Todd and I are facilitating this, and it's pretty rare that someone doesn't get their question asked. So if you have a question, submit it in GoToMeeting, add it to the Facebook group, or raise your hand. There's 3 ways for you to contribute and participate. Again, whether you want to ask a question or be one of the leaders on this call, we try to make this very collaborative. So we're 4 minutes in. I think we set the table. I'd say let's get into the topics. Todd, I like the idea of continuing the conversation a little bit on clients for life. Couple things. So since last week's call, so last Friday, we spent an hour masterminding on it. Then Tuesday of this week, I actually did a mastermind with 5 top mortgage coach professionals. If you want to listen to that mastermind, check it out. But it was Lori Richardson, Danny Harani. Jeremy had some technical issues, although him and I talked afterwards. So his views and perspectives have been integrated into the collective thoughts. Kelly Zitlow, Todd, and Wally. So we had all of these leaders are, to say they're top producers isn't really accurate, given that most of them do over 100 million in production annually. It was just some mega producers talking about, hey, what's the opportunity and what are the best practices for clients for life? So I've mastermind, I've surveyed a lot of folks. I'm going to kick things off with just going through, and I'm going to try to do this no more than 10 minutes, try to give you the playbook in 5 minutes. But at Mortgage Coach, we're trying to create a playbook of what are the best practices for a top mortgage professional that wants to optimize their clients for life, wants to maximize their past customer referrals and past customer loans. So that is a topic, and I'm going to walk you through a playbook. So before I do that, Todd, is there anything you want to add to that? And then I'm going to run everybody through the playbook. And then Jen, I'm going to hand it off first to you to provide your commentary on the playbook and to kind of add some of the things that you're doing within your practice. How's that
Sounds
sound?
good. Yep,
So
sounds great.
Todd, anything before I roll?
All I would throw out there to all of you on the call is if you've done anything different since Tuesday's calls or last Friday's call as a result to improve your experience for your clients, I'd love you to raise your hand or put it in the questions, because I think that's the key, right? Is picking one or two things from every one of these calls that you can make actionable and actually executing on it. So I'd love to sort of, if you're out there and you've done something, let's hear from you.
Yeah, and by the way, that's really going to be the most important thing as we go forward. It's great. We all know what to do, but are we doing it? And if we're not doing it, why aren't we doing it? And so great point, Todd. So let me walk you through the playbook that's in progress. So I have, as a company, we have surveyed some of our most successful loan officers, which make up the most successful loan officers in the country. We've done multiple masterminds. As I said this Tuesday, mastermind with Todd, mastermind with Wally, mastermind with Jeremy, Kelly, Danny, and Lori Richardson. And my goal, and by the way, if you're not looking at the screen, check out the screen, was as a team here at Mortgage Coach going, hey, what are the checklists? What are the scripts? What are the email templates? What are the marketing ideas to really crush it? Have this great, client for life, perfect loan process. So first, I applied some goal setting in the way that I approach things internally at Mortgage Coach. Good friend of mine by the name of David Diamond, who actually is a guy that I paid $30,000 and $50,000 a year as a mentor over a decade. He taught me this planning approach called OGSM, which stands for Objectives, Goals, Strategies, and Measures. So there's a lot of ways of going about planning, but this is the way we do a lot of things at Mortgage Coach. And so I said, I'm going to apply this to the playbook. So first of all, what is your objective? And by the way, I just wrote this particular objective up. And Todd, I know you've already given me some feedback, which I'm going to use to edit it. I think it was great feedback. But I am going to propose to everybody on this call and everybody that wants to optimize past customer referrals that you need a big objective. What is the big thing that you're trying to accomplish here? And make it more than just, I want to get 6% of my past customers to do a loan with me. Make it like a 10-year goal. Make it something that helps your retirement and builds personal wealth. Make it something really big. And Jen, I would love for you to speak to this when I pass the baton to you. But let's get clear on our client for life objective, and then let's bring it down to some very specific goals. The more measurable they are, the better. But, I talked about a goal, which we believe is a best practice, that 6% of your past customer database should be doing a loan with you annually. We're calling it the past client pull-through rate. Then, while you need to measure annually, you need to measure monthly. So you need a monthly, measure, which we're recommending is 0.5%. 0.5% times 12 equals 6. So that's your past customer pull-through rate. Every month, measure it. Have it as a goal. We are proposing that you have some type of a goal for the number of referrals you get from past customers, and it's monthly. It's a monthly metric. Just throwing out 0.5% as a starting point. if you really want to crush it with Clients for Life, you need to have a goal with how many 5-star reviews you get, or however you're doing reviews. So again, we just threw this number out, and then you want to have a conversion. What is your lead to loan conversion? Because obviously, if it's not exceptional, then if you don't have a exceptional conversion rate, you're probably not going to have an exceptional past customer pull through rate. That's our belief. And I just threw 50%. Maybe in some practices it should be 80%. And if it's a consumer direct, it should be 8 or 10%. So it's going to vary based off of lead source. And then there are the strategies. So objective, goals, strategies, consistently implementing a perfect loan process, consistently implementing annual reviews. And we do believe, like when Todd and I have surveyed the top loan officers, one of the biggest challenges is just not resourcing. Loan officers know they need to do it. Big teams know they need to do it, but they haven't put the right level of resources around the opportunity. So we're seeing it as a strategy to have resources, have team around it. I'm not going to read off the measures because I think they're redundant to the goals, but these are the measures. And then I did introduce an ROI worksheet that I created, which, by the way, I surveyed a number of loan officers like, hey, what was your biggest takeaway from this Tuesday's call? And Todd, I don't know, it was interesting to me. I had a number of people telling me that they loved the ROI worksheet that we created and the fact that they had never thought of it that way. So had a number of people tell me that was their favorite thing from Tuesday's call. Any comments or thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's great to hear because, I view it as kind of a slap in the face, right? When I look at my own database and what my team has done from an annual view perspective, since I haven't been actively originating for 14 months and realize that the habit, I haven't done a good job as a leader reinforcing the habit and the process. And so I think that's probably why people loved it, right? I think it's a great reminder that this is probably your biggest opportunity for the rest of 2017 to make an impact on your business now and in the future.
Yeah, no doubt. And I made it so that you could put in your personal commissions. If your personal commission is $2,000 alone, then, and you had 1,000 past customers, at a 6% pull through rate, that's $120,000 a year in revenue opportunity, 600,000 over 5 years. And if you make $4,000 alone, boom, it's over $1 million every 5 years in revenue opportunity. By the way, I also, again, I don't want to confuse people, but I went and came up with what is the value of each customer. If you're really managing a mortgage, and what is the value of that customer, and it's about $240. So for every mortgage under management at a 6% with 4,000, it's 240. Obviously, if your commission's less, it goes down. It's 180. And if your pull through rate is less, which, by the way, industry average is about 2% or less, boom, your past customers go down to, $60. But if you're doing best of breed, 6%, boom, every past customer is just worth money. So I thought that was an epiphany for a lot of folks. I'm going to open it up for dialogue in a minute. So then we also created this client for life process, put it in, what are you doing at point of sale to create clients for life? What are you doing within the transaction to optimize them? What are you doing at close? And then what are the ongoing services that you're doing? And it has been a theme that you talk to a lot of the best. They've got a good point of sale. They're killing it at point of sale. They're doing a pretty good job in transaction, or else they wouldn't be great. They're doing a great job in transaction, actually. Many of the best have a great close. They're giving away a lasting, memorable gift. They're doing a lot of good things at close. This is where it seems like most people fall down. They're sending out emails and text and marketing, but they're not having personal touch and they're not doing any reviews. So it seems like this is where a lot of the industry falls down. We're creating this checklist of the best. By the way, Todd, I think the list is going to end up being 10 because, I've got feedback that I'm missing a touch point. Lori Richardson, Again, a lot of people said one of their favorite parts of the call, their biggest takeaway, was Lori Richardson's annual mortgage review document. So I'm going to make sure we add that as a cornerstone to the checklist. And a lot of people said that, hey, we love the way Lori is emailing and promoting and packaging and promoting her annual review. So I'm going to add that to the checklist. So these were a couple things that came up in the mastermind that will be added to this checklist of clients for life. So anyway, so just so everybody knows what we're doing, we're going to create this playbook that's like, hey, here's the mortgage coach client for life playbook. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Here's examples of best practice marketing. Here are scripts. And actually, in the call, we actually gave out a Word document with all the scripts in it. And anybody that wants early access to that stuff, if you go to where we recorded it and you look at the description, all of the handouts to the webinar, which include scripts, are, if you're looking at my screen right now, here's the recording. If you go down, you could get all the handouts, which include scripts. Now, again, if you don't care about early access and you just want to wait until we come out with the official playbook, stay tuned. So Todd, anything you think I missed from that overview? And now I say we kind of open up Mastermind unless you want to add some color or some thoughts to what I just went through.
No, I think it looks great. And I told you in the email this morning, I just think it's something huge that you're giving back to the community. So, I just say thanks. I think it's great and look forward to hopefully getting some more feedback from the folks on the call to even sharpen it and make it even better for everyone.
Right on. So before I turn it over to Jen, be ready. I want to make sure, one, no one's raised their hand, so don't have a new topic. I'm looking at questions and go to webinar now. Derek mentioned I wasn't on the call, but saw some of the commentary about what you were going through, and I turned off my email notifications on my cell phone. So Knuckles, Derek, great job, brother. That's awesome to hear. Amy said, moving my calls for prospecting, getting important work done in the morning in order to win by noon. So, Todd, I think that's speaking directly to what, you asked the question, hey, what have you done since last week? And so we've got one person that wasn't on the call but saw the chatter and turned off notifications. And we've got another person that is doing more prospecting before noon. And then Amy also went on to say, since Tuesday, I've also scheduled to create a canned video to go out on my annual review. Boom. Great job, Amy. I was so excited to hear it's easier than I think to actually implement. So, Amy, once you've implemented it, let us know if you still agree that it's easier to implement. And Amy, once you record that, we would love to have you share it. So let's see here. I've got no more comments. Jen's excited. Jen, love this picture. Rock it out, girl. And
Yeah.
so I'm gonna hand it off to you now. And any commentary, color on what I just went through, and then we would love to hear some of the best practices you're implementing within your practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back to your original statement, is that, and this is something that I talk about all the time, is that we're always told in our industry what to do, but not how to do it. And I think our group coming together, and showing people exactly how to do things is super powerful. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful because I learn every single week that I'm participating as well. So, going back to your OGSM, yeah, 6% is a goal for me of retention. I guess I should say retention for my past clients. My goal is always to churn 6% of my database. I want to, and because I don't have a lot of time, I'm going to throw out a lot of things, so take a lot of notes. First of all, I don't believe in one and done. I believe in one and one. So every client, every goal, that's an objective for us, and obtaining the goal and getting there is a different thing. But every client breeds another referral, always. So everything that I'm putting together for my PLP, for my perfect loan process, whether it's, in the beginning stages and you have it in your client for life process, whether it's in the beginning or in the end, every decision that I'm making is about how I can not impel, compel these, they are compelled to refer me. Not that they are so happy and all that good stuff, that they're compelled to tell people about us. So I would just say that, you know, as you're thinking through your perfect loan process and you're hearing all of these great ideas about what to do and when to do them and how to do them, that you're making sure that it fits you and your personality and your style and your utility, you know, the availability of cash and money to be able to do this, your resources, whether you're leveraging, rather than just saying, wow, that's a really good idea, let me take it and kind of run with it. So really think through those things. I call it a parking lot. When I get great ideas, I put them in a parking lot, one standard place where I can look at them later so that I don't forget about them, but I'll implement them. Some can be implemented sooner, but others require a little bit more work and a little more time to think through whether or not I want to do it. So I'm just saying that, you know, your goal should be every client sends you another client, but the actions that you take to get there and the tools that you use should be very thoughtful and not just stealing
Hey,
everybody's ideas, right? Like we
hey,
do, and that's okay.
hey,
Go ahead.
Jen, real quick, I want to put you on the
Uh-huh.
spot.
Yeah.
Um, what you just said kind of aligns with what we call client for life scripting. So,
Mm-hmm.
at the point of sale, there's the hopes and dreams conversation. Todd
Yep.
Duncan calls it high trust selling. Everybody calls it something.
Yep.
One of the things I gave everybody a homework assignment, and I'll be surprised if you haven't watched this video, but several weeks ago, Tim Brahim did a video called Setting
Mm-hmm.
Up the Next Deal.
Mm-hmm.
And we think that script rocks. We advocated for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would love, you just talked just now about how you set expectations. That one, I'm going to manage your mortgage and do your next loan, and two, I want your referrals. How does that sound? What's your client for life scripting? And I'm not going to say, hey, you got to do it, now, but
No, I'm
if
okay. I'm okay doing it. I mean, if you were a client, I'd want to be able to do
okay,
it
well, then
right.
give us your client
Yeah.
for life script.
Yeah. And it's sometimes a little bit different, but as you know, Tim is my coach. So a lot of things that I do, are sort of around him, not in his complete style, but, if I were talking to a customer right now and saying, what's really important to me is that I wow you to the extent that you're compelled to tell your friends and family about us. And in order for me to do that, I need to make sure that I fully understand what your needs and concerns are as we're going through this process. So with your permission, and I understand and recognize that you are going to be sharing with me information that you would never share with even a family member. So with your permission, I'd like to ask you some very pointed questions that help me understand what your entrance strategy, what your holding strategy, and what your exit strategy will be for your mortgage. So is that okay with you? May I go ahead and ask those questions? So we start asking the questions. So at the end, I say, thank you so much for sharing so much information with me. This has really been beneficial for me. It helps me really understand what your goals and your dreams are for this property and for your family. And that said, while we're going through the process, your reticular activator is going to be engaging, and you're going to see more and more people are buying or selling or refinancing or talking about their credit or talking about the fact that their home is outgrowing them. And when you run across someone like that, would you be kind enough to introduce me? All I need is an introduction, and I'll take it from there. And I promise you, I will take care of them in the same manner that I'm taking care of you. This is super important to me and my team. And so all of us are jointly working towards making sure that you have a very, very smooth transaction. And then when we get to closing, that's when our relationship really starts. That's when I become your lender for life, and I will provide you with timely updates on what is happening with the market. We will do an annual review so that we ensure that because life happens, we ensure that you always have a perpetual pre-approval in the event that you need to make a change quickly. And I want you to know that I'm always here to answer any question that has to do with mortgages or real estate or anything related to finance, because I have a huge network of people that can help you through home services and through financial services as well. And lastly, what will happen is that I will personally be monitoring your interest rate and how it compares to the market. I will be sending you a quarterly rate watch, as well as getting in touch with you for an annual review just to make sure that we're still on track for what we talked about from the very beginning about your holding strategy to ensure that you have an exit strategy. And when I call you and say it's time to refinance, I'm not going to be asking you whether you want to consider it or not. I will be calling you and saying, guess what? It's time. It's time to save money on your mortgage based on your goals and dreams. Is that okay with you? Would that be okay if we have that type of relationship from today moving forward?
Boom. Obviously, that was you've done this before. That was spectacular.
Nah.
Reminder to everybody, it was recorded, so everybody could go back and really listen to that. Write down those notes. That was as detailed, as eloquent as I've ever heard it. I
Oh,
do want to
thank
put
you.
an emphasis. I actually want the whole team to go around right now and before you keep going because there was so much gold in that. But one of the biggest missed opportunities I see mortgage professionals is they're afraid to ask for referrals and start referrals until after the transaction. And I don't want to spend too much time on it, but during the transaction is absolutely the best time because to your point, they're running into other people that are having it. So Jen, at the beginning of the transaction is asking for referrals, is setting expectations. And then, it was pretty obvious to everyone that she set the expectation of how she's going to manage this mortgage over time. And by the way, everybody, when you listen to that, do you think what she said and how she said it will actually improve her conversion? So that even if someone has an eighth better in rate or $500 or $1,000, who do they want to deal with? Some other lender or Jen? So what she did was a great client for life, setup. But it was also, if you want to optimize the conversion and the winning the business and the referrals during the transaction, I mean, that's money. So, Todd, any comments or thoughts? And then Dave Gallegos, want to see if you have a round of thoughts, and then Jen will get back to going through your process.
Okay.
No, I just thought it was awesome. And without repeating what you said, I mean, I think Jenny did a great job of hitting all of the points, right? You set them up for the future and you just go deeper, right? I mean, most people, when they get on the call, I find aren't expecting anyone to talk much more than, hey, here's my interest rate. Here's my fees. Here's your payment. You want to give me an application. And so I think when you start off with that experience that you just provided, and it truly is an experience, it's just going to set the tone in a totally different place. And I love, like Dave said, that you asked for the referral, because I think that is a challenge that many of us, including myself, weren't the best at. But when you weave it in up front like that, when you're adding so much value, it's so much easier, and they don't view it as you just wanting something from them. They view it as you just building it into your value proposition. So kudos to you. That was awesome.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Dave Gallegos, any thoughts on your end?
It was all right. I've been
Thanks,
thinking,
Dave.
like, what am I going to say? This is going to be, because it was excellent. And so,
Thank
great,
you.
great job. And I'm glad it's recorded because I want to share it with everybody on my team. I think I got some of the same stuff back when I was producing with Tim Brahim. He did a really good job of making people understand how important it is to set up for this at the front end before you've done a transaction with somebody, so that they know that you've built your business that way. So well done, though. That was very good.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I went through it fast. I'm going to take a little less time, obviously with the client. I'm going to,
Sure.
talk in a normal conversation. I think two things I want to say about is that one, yeah.
Before you do, I want to just
Yep.
let you know a couple questions that were asked so that you
Okay.
don't have to just answer them, but
Yep.
make sure you kind of add it to, things you're going to cover in the order you're going to do it. So Amy had asked, what's involved in implementing all this? She admit, obviously doing mortgage approach at the front end, doing annual reviews, what does it really take to implement? So you don't have to jump on it, but let's make sure we get to that before the party's over today. Linda Buchanan said, hey, I would love suggestions on memorable closing gifts. So if everybody could, before this call's wrapped up, let's go around the room and just kind of everybody share one or two ideas. And then, this was on a positive note. Amy said, holy Moses, I love your style, Jen. I would be blown
Thank you.
away if I was your client. So you got some nice kudos there too. So
Thank you.
keep the questions coming, folks. We'll get to them throughout the next 30 minutes. And Jen, I'll hand it back to you to continue to go through your process.
Okay, so I think the one thing that I want to say is that my goal on the phone and when I meet with people face to face, because I still meet with a lot of clients face to face, is to wow them to a capacity with a genuine heart, a servant's heart, and being very authentic. Okay, and I still feel like the best script is the truth, right? But I want to be able to wow them to the capacity that any other loan officer that they talk to doesn't measure up. So anything you do that's different than the average guy or gal is going to be extremely powerful. The other thing is that one of the things that you had said earlier, Dave, was why aren't people doing these things? Why aren't they having this phone conversation? One of the things that really helped me, if I could leave just this one thing, is the and I learned it from somebody else, not even the mortgage business. With your permission, if you can remember that, with your permission, may I ask you some questions? With your permission, I'd like to take a few minutes and explain how my process works and how it's different than everyone else. With your permission, I'd like to explain the whole process and what you can expect next. And that helps me, and maybe it'll help someone else. I do everything based on faith and not fear. Okay, faith that people will listen to me and will allow me to share, rather than the fear that they probably won't, so I just won't. And I think that's too many lost opportunities. So I just want to share that with everybody. What does it take to implement this? Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question. I think, Todd, you would agree with me, and everybody. This, sometimes can take some time. I would just say take one piece of this. I mentioned in my scripting, and I mention this with every client, is I want to talk to them about their entrance, holding, and exit strategies. I would maybe just start there. Is what does an entrance strategy look like for a loan officer, other than a client calling and saying, hey, I'm going to put 20% down, and starting to quote a rate? Well, we want to kind of say, well, with your permission, before we talk about that, why do you want to put down 20% down? Or maybe it's someone who's putting 300,000 down, right? Why are you doing that? May I ask, with your permission, may I ask you why you're doing that? So we have to really hone in on that entrance strategy, and not just make it a questionnaire of questions, but why? Why is the entrance strategy? What is that? The center of it, the holding strategy, is, how long do you think you'll be in the house, but how long do you think you'll have the loan? Because we know that people refinance as well. And what do you hope to accomplish when you exit this house? Is it going to be that this home is going to provide you with all the cash you need for that exit strategy? So the perfect example would be, I'm doing FHA at 3.5% down. It's coming as a gift. I'm living with mom and dad to save money, and I've demonstrated now that I'm not able to save money, but my holding strategy is $2,500 payment a month, and I think I'm only gonna be in the house for 5 years. Well, it's our job to help them understand that that is not a feasible option unless we restructure the loan using Mortgage Coach Edge, right? Maybe it's 100 a month, maybe it's 200 a month. Maybe it's a completely different strategy. Maybe we can't help them accomplish that. But as an industry, we set people up for failure if we're not helping them know the exit strategy when they go in. Okay, so I would say, like, how do you implement all this? Start with just that. Start with changing the way that you have your initial conversation, your hopes and dreams conversation with your client. So that makes it a little different, and then start adding the next pieces, through your process, the high trust handoff and the baton handoff, and then, start working on other pieces of it. But if you want to change just one thing, I would say change that. The other thing is, I've talked about this before. I do mortgages under management, and so I really talk with clients quite a bit about managing their mortgage. And most of you, well, a lot of you know Craig Strunt, and I work with him at Apex. we kind of came up with the mortgages under management. Prior to that, it was an adopt a loan program. That's what I came to the company with. And I said, if you've been orphaned by your last lender, who typically does a poor job on the back end of a loan, right? You know, the retention part of it. If you've been orphaned by your last lender, I'd love to adopt your mortgage and manage it for you. And so one of the goals that I have on a regular basis, and my goal is 10 a month, is to add 10 new clients every month who I did not originate their mortgage. And now I'm managing their mortgage. And that's where you can get this from your current database as well. As, do you know someone else who has been orphaned by another lender and they don't have me helping them and guiding them on a regular basis? I would love to manage their mortgage. And it's complimentary, but what you're doing is you're pulling them into the fold. You're doing the annual reviews. They're getting all the great things that you're sending out from a retention standpoint. Along with everyone else, and guess what? You expect referrals from them too. So you're also, or hoping for, or whatever it is, you know, but you're having the same kind of conversation as if they were already your client, and you're asking the same question. What was your entrance strategy? Oh, well, didn't have one. My lender didn't ask. What's your holding strategy? Don't know. Nobody asked me. What's your exit strategy? Don't know. So now we can create that for them and pull these people into me. So if I lose a loan to a builder, I'm still going to get that client because I'm going to manage your loan, right? So I wanted to share that with you just to let you know that you can manage people's loans that you didn't even originate. If you're out there talking to people about, you know, who's managing your mortgage? Well, what do you mean? Well, Wells Fargo. I make my payments to Wells Fargo. Well, they're not managing your mortgage, they're collecting payments. So who's actually helping you? So that's just one part of our process as well. So I'm going to stop there for just a second. Any feedback on that at this point?
Okay,
Just in
so
how to implement.
Ron made a comment. What a dynamic session it is, and no doubt it is. Nobody has raised their hand to be unmuted yet. We do have a question on memorable gifts.
I'll get to that.
Before we roll on that, Todd, do you have any questions or thoughts based off of what Jen has shared so far?
Well, I would say if you are listening and you have a memorable gift or maybe not so memorable gift that you're giving, that we would love you to put it in the question section so that we can share that with the group. That would be great for all of you who are on the call. I love the whole adopt a mortgage thing, and I love the fact that you're calling it mortgage under management. So the rest of you listening, realize there's scripting and branding around it, right? If you're like, hey, I'm just going to call you in a year and talk to you about your mortgage, you know, that's okay because you're providing a great service. But think through how you can script it and kind of make it unique, because Jen already said that she's providing such a different experience, right? She's asking their permission, and then she's telling them how her process goes and then how it's different from everybody else's. And so if you've got that opportunity, whether they've talked to another lender already or whether they're going to call other lenders, you know, with about 99.9% certainty that no one else is going to do that. And so really just think through taking a couple of extra minutes, right? Jen said she went fast through that, but it was super complete. And if you can do something like that with your clients and then think through then how she's scripting the adopt a mortgage and mortgage under management, and just add those few tweaks into what you do starting when we get off this call, then I think you're going to change the trajectory of your annual client review program going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you know, without going through my whole, you know, let me just tell you my perfect loan process, by the way, is already in the forms section of our Insane Productivity website, I mean Facebook page. So you can see it. There's over 71 points. I'm actually in the process right now of making, I think I'll end up somewhere around 83 once I'm done, of things that we're doing. So we're in the process of changing them right now, changing and tweaking a few things. But to give you some ideas on some closing gifts, if I can just kind of go there and then you guys can corral me back. But we do settlement frames. We do frames. So we get a picture of the house, and I have my assistant try to find the best picture, whether it's from the appraiser or whomever. And we have a person who turns it into a painting. Turns it into a painting. And so it looks like a painting. And so we give those out to people at closing so they have a picture of their house. Another little quick thing that we do at closing is we provide Bernstein Bears moving day book for people who have kids, the people who have children. Throughout the process, we do some gift giving. When they get their loan approved, we send a variety pack of popcorn to the borrower who talks the most to their office, and that's something that we do. We do. A phone charger, just saying, keep yourself charged for when the good news of your loan approval comes in. So we send that. We even have an insulated bag where we say, please use this for purchases between now and closing, but large purchases don't fit in the bag, smiley face. So they can't make large purchases. Yeah, they can't make large purchases. I personally like the frames. That's what I like doing. It's just a little something, and I write on the back of them with a gold metallic thing, like you can write on a wine box or wine bottle. I write on the back of it, enjoy your home. Thanks for the opportunity, Jen, and put my phone number and stuff so that they always have it. I have a whole process that happens after closing that is not tangible. It's the intangible things like, one day after closing a video, thank you to the client. One day after closing a video, thank you to both the buyer and the listing agent. 3 days after closing, I call the client and just check in on how the move is going. I immediately send a total cost analysis with the final terms showing a 15-year term and a $100 extra per month. Immediately, and record and do another recording so that I say that it aligns with our holding and exit strategy. Always referring back to that. 3 months later, 30 days later, I'm doing another client call, just asking to make sure if they've got their monthly statements, if they had any questions, have they completed their Zillow review, and if they haven't, I send another link for them to do that. I do video. I do a lot of combinations. So at 3 months, I do a video just saying, hey, just checking in. I hope you're enjoying the house. I'm so excited for you again, that kind of thing. I write thank you notes virtually after every single time that I meet with them or talk to them or do a video, so that when just as they're about ready to forget about me, I interject myself into their life. I don't like them breaking up with me after closing. We're with them for 30 to 60 days, and then it's closing isn't a casket closing. It's, just part of the process. And then of course I do annual reviews with TCAs all the time. And I do them constantly, year after year. One little trick I could give to everybody, I did write this down. If you're kind of confused about who to call and when to call, I learned this from Marketing Animals, and I absolutely love it. And my team uses it. We do the ABC method. So, everybody in your database, everyone with the last name of A gets a phone call the first week of January and the first week of July. Everyone with a B gets the second week of January and the second week of July. And what will happen is that you will have made 2 phone calls to your clients throughout the year, just check-ins. You will hopefully you're calling them on the anniversary and doing an annual review, and hopefully you're calling them on their birthday, and hopefully you're doing rate watch, where you're doing every 3 months, you're doing a rate watch phone call to them. I do slide dial, but every 3 months I'm doing a phone call to them saying, hey, here's your market update, and if you have any questions, give me a call. So I'm reaching out to them like 5 times. So I'm not letting them break up. And that's one of the bad things about the post-closing process that everyone has, is that it keeps with this annual review, but what are and then the other thing is just my client appreciation parties. I'm always having something where I'm inviting them. And that's the purpose of my call, is because I'm inviting you to another client appreciation party. I might be inviting you to a mixer because you are a client that that could really value other referral partners that I have. And so I might invite them to a mixer that I'm doing. So those are the reasons that I'm calling people. So there's always a reason to call clients. And there's no excuse for not doing it. I mean, when you get a call from someone, you're usually pretty happy about the call too. So we have to get beyond the thought of, well, I don't want to be salesy. We're not selling anything. We're communicating. That's all we're doing. It's a service call, not a sales call.
Well, I think that's huge. So I think one of the things you all have to listen to is that if you take the time up front that Jen takes to build relationship and rapport with your clients, those calls are super easy, right? Normally, when you don't get to know the person well enough, then you're going to be hesitant to give a call. So I think that that's a really important point. One question, Jen, that we got from Linda is, are your videos generic afterward, like green screen kind of videos, or are they ones where you're actually recording a specific video for each person each time you send one?
Oh, I'm recording a specific video. I have a selfie stick, right? I use my selfie stick. I use my selfie stick just so I'm a little further away. And hey, Todd, it's Jen. I just wanted to check in. Can you believe it's been 3 months already? I'm just thinking about you, and I'm hoping that you're really settling in and you love it, and you've met your neighbors and all that good stuff. And again, we do housewarming parties, so sometimes that's the message and sometimes it isn't. I definitely do housewarming parties with all my purchases, who want to do it with my referral partners. So we do housewarming parties. So I'm just saying, I hope you're settling in. Hope you got to meet your neighbors. I hope you're enjoying your summer. One of the things I teach people when I do my coaching is, to ask about their season, just in quotes, season. How's your season? So, just calling in, how was your weekend? How was your Memorial Day? How was your summer? How was your winter? How was your spring? How was your Labor Day? There's always a reason to just make that phone call and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. How was your weekend? That's great. That's great. Any plans for the summer? The kids, that's great. Listen, I don't want to take any time. I was just calling, to say that I am thinking about you and I appreciate you very much. And if there's anything I can do for you, you know where to call and you know how to get a hold of me. And I hope you guys have a fantastic vacation. And then I take little notes about that vacation. So the next call is about the vacation.
Love it. Love it. Someone asked, do you ever have team members do these calls, or is it only you?
I do all the videos and I do all the calls that are inviting them to the client appreciation. And then it's a mix of us. So at 1 day, I'm doing calls. At 30 days, someone else is doing a call. At 3 months, I'm doing the video. At 6 months, my mortgage planner is making a phone call. At 1 year, my mortgage planner is making a phone call to schedule the annual review. Therefore, I can. So I do a little mix of everything because I do stress that we are a team. And I know it sounds really funny. We're a team. No, we really, really are. Every one of us loves our clients and gets to know our clients. So I want them to see them as well, to be reminded that, how spectacular the team is. And not
awesome.
just.
And there's another question of how big your team is. So can you just walk us through the number of people and the roles that they each serve?
Sure. I have 2 mortgage planners, which would be loan officer assistants, I guess. One is on the front side, and it's a lead generating mortgage planner. So they do a lot of phone calls for making appointments for me. They do the alphabet calls. They call, realtors to, or whoever to make appointments. They call people to make sure that they got invitations for the events that we're having or seminars or classes that I have. So everything lead generation. They are also the retention people. So they're everything on the backside too. Is anything that would bring business in. And then I have a mortgage planner who's in charge of everything that's in. So she's a nurturer. She helps, keep referrals, keep our conversion ratio up, because she's very great at nurturing and calling and saying, hey, I'm still waiting for documents. Are you still looking for the house? Making sure that we're calling the agents as well. So that's those 2. And then I have a social media marketing director. She takes care of all my social media and pops all that stuff out there and really does some special projects for me. And then I have a junior loan officer, because I teach so many classes. I get in a room of 50 people and I don't want 50 realtors. So I kind of pick and choose who I want to work with, and he goes after the rest of them in my name.
Love it. Love it. That's really awesome. We've got some people posting in there about their gifts they're sending. So if you haven't done so yet and you've got a cool gift, let's hear from them on that. Dave, either of you have any questions for Jen?
I got one.
Go ahead, Dave. I'll let you go first.
Just you mentioned that you're doing a quarterly rate watch. Can you tell me what that is? What you mean by that?
Yeah. Well, we have a system, and I believe it's through you, Dave. It's part of your rate watch reports. But we have, what happens is that we are able to generate a to 700 mailers, which we don't do because it's just too many people for me to communicate with. But what happens is that it prints out exactly where the client's rate is now and where the rates are today. I mean, where their rate is, and then where rates today. And every quarter they get that just so they know where they're measured up against the market. And the reason I send it, even if like
You're mailing it?
yeah, we're mailing that. Yep. And the reason I send it, even if, like, for example, I have people that have rates of, 3.5 and today's rate's 4. So I'm saying, why would you send that? Well, I told them I would. That's number one. I promised them I would. Second part is I want them to know where things are, in the market, so that if they have a friend that is at 4.5 or 6, there's still some of them out there, that they tell them. But more importantly is that people refinance for reasons other than just interest rate. And 33% of my business is from financial planners. So what I like about them is, one, they don't work on weekends. Two is that they're going to refinance whether rates are great or not. They're going to, people get divorced whether rates are great. They don't say, hey, well, let's not get divorced now because rates aren't low enough. There are reasons that people are refinancing. So it just gets me in front of them on a regular basis, and it's quarterly. So it's not like I'm bothering them. For me, it's a lot because it's every month, but it's quarterly. And I do a slide dial, just a quick, hey, your reports, hopefully you got your report in the mail. I hope you're enjoying your summer this year. Rates are remaining relatively low. It appears that's what's going to happen. If you have any questions on your rate watch, give me a jingle and I'll be happy to walk you through anything, or of course any other time. And don't forget, if you know anybody, or who do you know, depending on if I have a theme that week, but if you know anybody who's also looking to have someone manage their mortgage, or is interested in buying or selling, please give me the opportunity to speak with them. I would love the introduction. And then hang up, and then it goes to all of them.
Gotcha.
So,
Thanks.
yeah.
All right, guys. So couple thoughts. One, if you're looking at the screen right now, I have posted a survey. How many times are you speaking to your past clients annually? Please answer this on our Facebook page, because that's a place that will, one, live forever, and two, we can consolidate all that. So even a few of you answered that question in the questions of GoToWebinar. I am putting an ask out to everybody in the community right now. If you don't have to multitask and do it now unless you have it open, but please, within 10 minutes of today's call, or you'll forget it and you'll never do it. Let us know, how many times are you speaking to your past clients annually? And then I also put something in here. What are the gifts you're providing your past clients? And I would love 1 to 2 thoughts of what you're doing. And Jen, even though you mentioned it in today's call, if you don't mind posting that in comments, sometime today. But I would put an ask, and even for all of you that put it in there, let's put it all in one place. What makes this group awesome? It's the collaboration, it's the community. Jen is the mentor and leader, sharing what she did. But it's, some of the best ideas can come from anyone in the group. So, Pat mentioned in chat that he has a gift from Harry and David. Pat, thanks for putting it there, but if you could also put it in the Facebook group, that's great. Mark mentioned that magazine closing gifts with contact information on the logo or on the label. Great. Let's see, what else are we? By the way, Rick Gary said, Jen, thank you for sharing this. I'm so
welcome,
current and past client focused. I had never thought of asking for others to manage your mortgage in 24 years. So 24 years, by the way, this guy is one of the best mortgage professionals in the country. Hadn't thought of it. He goes on to say, very cool concept. What a great funnel for future deals. So thanks from Rick Gary. Linda, we already did her questions. Mark said he makes 4 calls and 4 seasonal calls. Mark, thank you for participating, but still put that in the Facebook group if you could. And then Mark also said, I cannot access the Facebook page. So Mark, you should be able to get there. Just do a search in Facebook for it. I'll keep an eye out and I'll approve you when you make a request to sign up. I have approved at least a dozen people during today's call. So again, I don't know if anybody else has advice for Mark on that. And by the way, look at this thing filling up. Amy, thank you. Mark, great job. Jen, great job. Let's build a library here of all the great closing gifts from the mortgage coach community. Fantastic. And don't see anybody doing the poll yet, but please make sure you fill that out before. I'm not going to say by the end of the day. Do it within 5 minutes of this call, or the chances are you just won't do it. And there we go. Look, we've got a bunch of people that have started to fill it out. And it looks like for the most part, one call annually is winning. So we're in the last 5 minutes. Todd, how do you recommend we close out this last 5 minutes? You are the coach that makes everything actionable. So you're really the captain of the last 5 minutes.
Well, my request every week is that you get off this call and you do a jam session, right? Don't worry about the phone calls that came in, the text messages, the emails, right? Spend a minimum of 30 minutes, an hour would be better. And write down the ideas that you heard Jen say that you think you need to implement into your system. If you don't have an annual review system, you've got some homework, right? Dave already went through some of the other videos that are really great that are in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. And so, jump on that. But I think in the end, it always comes down to, why wait? I think execution is just one of those things where I find so many loan officers have so many great ideas. There's no secrets out there, right? We can swipe and adapt our way to amazing mortgage careers, but most people just fail. They go, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to do it next week. So just like you told everyone, hey, 5 minutes after this call, make sure you jump into the Facebook group. I would say the same thing. I mean, spend time on your annual mortgage review process now if you haven't. If you've got that done, then spend a few minutes going into Dave's YouTube channel and look at the quick hits he's got. He's got a ton of 10 to 20 minute calls, and there's other great ideas. And find a subject in there that's something that you have a gap with that you could implement into your own system. And then when this call gets posted up later today to the YouTube channel, certainly listen to it again, right? I mean, Jen blew us all the way with that script, how she's talking with her clients. And so again, that would be a great script for you to write down and figure out, all right, what would I change to make this my own? And I think you guys can come out of the gates and give a different experience to your clients as well.
All right, so I'm going to do a minute on some recommendation on homework assignments. Remember, this is recorded, so you can go and watch the last minute. But last week's call, major homework assignment. If you need more information, if you already know what to do, you got a great playbook. It was still great. Also, Tuesday's mastermind call, great call. In terms of mortgage coach scripts, if you want to upgrade any of your scripts, the call that I did last year with Tim, Jeremy, and Danny, one of the all-time best scripts calls. To me, this call I did with Tim Raheem many, many years ago, and then my team edited it. So, it's a little dated, but it's still a requirement for mortgages under management. I thought Jen's script in today's call was as good or better than Tim's. Actually, Jen's was probably a little more comprehensive, and it included all of the advice in this 3-minute call from Tim. So again, and I do think when it comes for clients for life and maximizing past customers, I've done a lot of calls with Tim on that topic, and he crushes it. And then, of course, I did a whole hour with Todd Bookspan. I forget because I recommend it all the time. The annual mortgage review call with Todd last year was just a must watch if you're trying to upgrade your system. So that kind of is a reminder on homework assignments. Again, not proposing that you add 5 hours of content to your schedule. What I'm just telling you about is, hey, here's an entree of some things if you still are trying to figure out what to do. And we will dedicate future calls where we really spend more time on tactically troubleshooting. What problems are you having? I would remind and ask everybody, when we post a question like I did last night on what are your topics? Like I posted this, any suggestions on topics in the morning? Let us know, and don't wait for me to ask. If there's something you want to center next week's call around, feel free to share that in our Facebook page anytime. Anything we can do to serve you. This mastermind is all about making you more productive, how to get more success out of less time. That is the essence of today. Bringing great people from the mortgage coach community on as leaders and participants and helping you have more success in less time. So we got 1 minute less. Dave Gallegos, you probably talked the least today. Any final thoughts as we wrap up today's call? All right, Dave, you're on mute, or we lost you. Uh, so, hey, Jen, you were fantastic. Thanks for
Oh,
letting us
thank you.
feature you today, and you were awesome. Todd, I'll give you the last minute as we wrap up today's call.
Well, I always say it, right? Now's the time to start. We would love your feedback, right? If you have ideas after you watch this video for Dave on this process that he's trying to create a playbook to give back to the community, speak up, right? We would love that. Let us know what you thought of this call with the poll that Dave's pushing right now. And then any other ways that we can improve. I always think that these calls are the best when we get questions and comments from all of you. So thanks to you guys who did it. And ultimately, just go out there and have the most productive week that you can have, and don't wait till Monday. Finish off with a strong, productive Friday, and you'll go through the weekend with some momentum. And just appreciate you, Jen. That was a huge value to the community. I think you knocked it out of the park. And as always, Dave, thanks for being such a leader and getting us here. And to the other Dave Gallegos that we lost, thanks always for jumping in and giving your feedback, because that's super helpful as well.
Wonderful. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Take care. Have an awesome weekend, everybody. Appreciate you investing time in Mortgage Coach and the team here today. Bye now.
Bye.